All right. So welcome all you guys. We are going to go ahead and get started. I just wanted to go ahead and go over a couple of safety things before we really start. First of all, this is a chair yoga. So we want to make sure that our chair does not have wheels. So it shouldn't be a rolly office chair. It should be something nice and solid. And if it doesn't have arms, the armrests, that would be preferable as well. So we are going to do a couple of poses standing behind our chair tonight. So just be aware that there will be approximately 2 portions of class where you're actually standing up out of the chair. And with that, can you guys all hear me okay? Thumbs up if you can hear me. All right. Well, we are going to start with our 3-part breath, and I'm going to get in my chair so you can see me better. We want to focus in first in any yoga class on our breathing. And this is so important for lots of reasons. First of all, when we breathe better, we move better. And when we breathe better, it can help us with things like anxiety and just our overall health. One of the best anti-anxiety breaths that we can do is called 3-part breath. And we are going to learn how to do that tonight. So the breath, if you want to imagine it coming into the body in 3 chambers. The first chamber is our belly. So we want to breathe first from the stomach. Then we want to bring our breath up into our rib cage and chest. And the final 3rd chamber is our throat and sinuses. So imagine filling a glass of water from bottom all the way to top with your breath. And then we empty our body of that breath, same way it came in. So I just want you to sit towards the front of your chair with your feet firm on the floor and place your hands in your lap. Let's breathe in through the nose and let's inhale, fill the belly. Inhale, fill the ribs and chest. Inhale, fill the throat. And then we're going to exhale. Bring that breath out slowly, exhaling through the nose. We'll try this 3-part breath again. Inhale, inhale through the nose, feeling the belly expand open, the rib cage and the chest, up to the throat. Exhale, let your breath move out of the body slowly. And let's try one more time. Inhale through the belly, the upper torso, the throat, and exhale. Sigh your breath out. Let's take a couple swallows. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down a few times. And let's start with our active practice, doing some postures and flows to warm up the body. Starting with some neck circles. Tucking the chin to chest. We should feel this as a stretch in the back of our neck. That's where we tend to hold a lot of tension. And now let's roll our ear to our shoulder to stretch the side of the neck. Let's come back down, bringing our chin towards the chest. And a little semicircle here, ear back to shoulder. Take one more very slow roll here, coming forward and sideways. Coming back forward and sideways. Bring your head back in line with your chest, and then we're going to look up. Don't crane your neck back too far. Just look at where the wall and the ceiling meet. And then you're going to drop your chin back down the chest, like you're doing a slow nod yes. Inhale, look up. Exhale, slowly look down. If you find yourself getting dizzy, just go a little slower. And one more time here. Inhale, look up. Exhale, looking down. Bring your head on nice and straight, and we're going to widen our feet just a little bit, like maybe about feet in line with the legs of our chair. Let your hands rest onto the tops of your knees and bring your body weight forward, almost like you're going to sit your chest through the knees. We're going to round our back up like a scared Halloween cat, pulling the belly button in towards the spine. Inhale, bring the chest forward and bowed open. So we call this flow cat and cow. Exhale, big round. And inhale, expand open. So we're bowing and arching back, alternating between the two. Big round and big open. Let's try one more time. Rounding and opening. Now stay here with your hands on the kneecaps. Keep your back flat. We're about to come into a forward fold, and I'm going to show you two ways that you can do this. Way number one would be to come down and grab hold of the inside of my ankles, just below my calf. And way number two is if your back is feeling a little more flexible this evening, you could potentially take your fingertips or fists onto the floor. So again, option A is to just grab hold of your lower leg. And option B is to come down to the floor. From here, you can loosen the elbows just a little bit, give them a bit of a bend, and let the crown of your head drop down towards the floor. And you can still do that grabbing hold of your ankles as well. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, deep breath out. And one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. And start to walk your hands up the legs. We're going to come into a very wide squatted position on our chair. We are still supported by the seat of our chair. We'll take our feet outside the width of the legs of the chair, and our knees and toes turn out to about a 45-degree angle. We're going to use our arms and our trunk to do the work here. Lift your arms up and out like you're about to do the Y in YMCA, and bring your elbows down to the side of your body like you're making a W shape. Here's the breath. Inhale. As you reach up, exhale as you bring those elbows in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, come down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull down. One more time. We're about to add one piece. I want you to reach your arms out to that big letter Y. And now tip forward from the hip, gather up the air all around you. Let your fingertips gently brush the floor and reach up with a straight back. So we're going to try this flow 4 times, really slow. It's called a moonflower. Isn't that pretty? Lifting up. You want to keep your back straight, so you're not trying to round it all. And if you can't quite touch the floor, you're just pretending to touch the floor. We'll do one more time. And rising up, bring your hands to heart center. We call this Anjali Mudra in yoga. It's a gesture of gratefulness. And bring your feet back in line with your hips, knees pointing straight ahead. We're going to reach one hand for the chair back and one hand to the outside of our knee. And we're just going to give a twist looking at the wall to the side of us. Take 3 breaths here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Try to unclench the jaw. 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to come center. Exhale to twist to the opposite side. Hold your twist. Inhale. Exhale. Every inhale, we want to lengthen the spine. Think like you're being pulled up by a string. Every exhale, try to see more of the wall to the side of you. 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to come center. Exhale, and let's just shake that all out. So a little bit of balance within our warm-up. Hopefully you can see my knees okay. What I'm going to do is take my 2 hands lightly to the sides of my seat or slightly behind me if that works for you. I'm going to try to keep my spine as tall as possible and my stomach muscles braced, like I was wearing a really tight belt. We're going to see if we can lift up 1 knee and just hover that foot over the earth and then bring the foot back down and change. Opposite leg up, just hover and set it down. Let's try 2 more times. Lift and hover and set it down and lift and hover and set it down. Now, same exact flow, but try this. Either allow your arms to come out sideways or overhead. We'll do 4 more marches. Lifting a knee up and drop down. Lift your knee up and drop down. 2 more times. Lift, hold the stomach muscles in tight and drop. 1 more time. Lifting up and drop. Bring the arms down. Shake everything out. So depending on your yoga experience, that may have been a lot of work for you, and it is. It's a lot of work for our ab muscles, the core as we call it. We're about to do a flow, and these are called sun salutations, even though we're practicing at night. I'm going to turn my chair on a little bit of an angle so you can see me better, but you all can stay exactly as you are. So from this angled position, I'm going to do something called upright salute, where I'm just going to lift my arms straight up and I'm trying to open up my chest and rib cage. From here, this is a flow. It's like a yoga dance where we just follow one move with another. We're going to widen our feet and we're going to hinge forward, reach down towards the floor. Now, if you can't touch the floor, you are grabbing hold of your ankles, and that's perfectly fine. We're going to be lifting straight up with our arms right out in front of us and perform a rowing motion. This simulates what we call a crocodile push-up in yoga. We're going to bring our elbows all the way towards the rear of our chair and squeeze your upper back muscles together. So you're pinching your shoulder blades. Open up the chest and bring your hands down to your thighs. We're going to sweep our heart forward and up in a very modified cobra pose. Traditionally, cobra is done laying on your belly on the ground, but this is how we would do that same posture from a chair. So you're looking slightly upward, a small bow in your back, And we'll simulate a downward facing dog in the chair. Place your back in a straightened position. Kick your heels out in front of you in a V position with your legs straight. Reach your arms up so your arms are in line with your ears, and you're going to hinge forward. Maybe you've seen this pose, pictures of it in magazines or on commercials, TV. This is that triangle shape yoga pose that's traditionally done on the floor. And when we do it in the chair, it gives us a really great benefit of stretching out our hamstrings. That's the back of our thighs. We hold a lot of tension back there. Let's let our hands come back down to our thighs and walk your feet back underneath the knees. We're going to walk our way back down into forward fold, touching towards the ground. Circle sweep your arms up overhead, big reach up, and let your hands come to heart, resting in what we call Anjali Mudra. So shake everything out. You should all be feeling pretty warm by now. You feel like you've got all your muscles at least warmed up. We're going to come into strength. So this, once again, is going to be where I turn my chair a bit to help you all see a little better. But you keep your chair in whatever position feels best for you. I'm going to turn back straight onto you. And we're going to learn how to do a warrior one and a high lunge this evening. In the first class, I taught you how to do a warrior two. So we're going back in time a little bit with this warrior one. What I would like you to do is face towards a side wall on your chair. And depending on how long your legs are, you may need to play with the placement of your chair. And I'll show you what I mean by that shortly. To get into the pose, we want to take one toe back behind us, and the back knee is bent about 90 degrees, and the front thigh and knee are supported by the chair. The arms come up overhead, and you're squaring your shoulders and hips towards the wall to the side of you. If you are a longer-legged individual, and you're just finding that this is not working well for you, what you could do is turn your chair on a slight angle and just have your thigh resting on the corner of that chair. It'll be a little more active, but you might be in a happier position for your legs. So here in our warrior one, whenever you find that placement, I want you to bring your elbows down to the side of the body like you're creating a scarecrow shape with your arms. Lifting your arms back up, inhale, exhale, bring the arms back down, elbows to your side. One more breath. Inhale and exhale. Let your hands come back down to the chair and scooch yourself center. Your legs just got a lot of work, so let's stretch them out a bit. Bring your knees and your feet wide. And we're going to let our hands rest on the insides of our knees. What we're going to do is a little circle with our torso. So inhale, bring your chest forward and low. Exhale, circle backward. Inhale, forward. Exhale, circle backward. One more time. Inhale, forward. Exhale, backward, and reverse direction. Same exact flow. Now you may notice this class is just a little bit more active than the last class. And I wanted to just show some variety in how you could use the chair to get a really great workout in. All right, holding up at the top. We're going to see a warrior one again, but we're going to face the opposite wall this time. So you probably already know you don't want to do the same leg twice, or else you're going to be really, really sore afterwards. So opposite side, we're going to scoot and we're going to face the wall we haven't faced yet. The front knee is bent, a 90-degree angle, or at least close to 90 degrees. The back toe comes behind you, and you can just remember that option too, where if you're a longer legged individual, you may need to turn your chair on an angle, and you may need to support your thigh just on that angled portion of the chair. When you get yourself situated and feeling secure, reach your arms up, and we're going to exhale, bring our elbows down to our sides like a football goal post. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hold. Bring your hands back onto the chair. Come back center for that wide plie squat. And instead of doing circles, this time we're going to twist our shoulders. Let your hands come onto thighs. Tip forward of the hip. And let's drop one shoulder forward and down. Center. Forward and down. Center. Forward and down. Center. One more time. And center. Roll up. One more strength pose, facing the side walls in each direction. This one is called high lunge, and it's very similar to warrior one we just did. Oh, can you guys still hear me okay? All right. So this one is very, very similar to the warrior one that we've just went over, but it's got one big difference, and that's our back leg placement. What I'd like you to do is face sideways again on your chair, almost like you're getting ready to do the warrior one again. But the back leg is going to wiggle straight behind you. And remember, for my long-legged friends, if you need to turn that chair on a slight angle, you absolutely can. So we have back legs super straight, and we're stretching out a muscle here in our hips. It's called the hip flexor muscles. We hold a lot of tension and stress right here. You're going to keep the front knee bent at 90 degrees, and you're just going to hold your arms up here. If that's too much for any of my friends with shoulder issues, you could come into this little gesture of gratefulness here, Anjali Mudra, and we're going to hold for 3 breaths. When you're in the pose, inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, in breath, out breath. One more time, in breath, and out breath. Hands on the chair and scoot back center. Oh, we're just gonna take little kick outs to let the legs release here. And the same exact posture to the other side of the room. High lunge. Set up just like what you would for the warrior one that we just learned a few moments ago. And you're going to wiggle and scoot and scooch your rear leg back behind you. Make sure that chair is not digging into your hips. You may need to turn the chair, as we talked about, so it doesn't dig in anywhere. Reach your arms either up overhead, or you could bring your hands to heart center, your choice, yogi's choice, as we would say. Let's try 3 breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. 2 more deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. In breath. And out breath. Let your hands come back down to the chair for support. And you are going to wiggle and scooch yourself back center. We're about to go on a little field trip. So for this, I will be standing up and I will be using the back of my chair for a little bit of support. And I know because of the placement of my camera, if I stand all the way up and I put my arms up, I might lose sight of my hands subtly. So just know they're still attached. They're still doing things. I'm going to come on up and I'm going to take my chair so the back is facing me. Yes, my floor squeaks. All right. We're going to lightly hold on to that chair like it's a ballet bar. And we're just going to work on sitting our hips back and down. And then we're going to stand up. So building some leg strength. Sit back and down and rise up. Now I want to let you know this too. Sometimes when people do the chair squat, they let their knees go too far forward. So think about pushing your hips back. Like if you had magnets attached to your tailbone and they were drawn back, those magnets were drawn to a metal wall behind you. Keep your feet nice and flat on the ground. And you want to squeeze the muscles of your glutes, that's the butt muscles, back behind you. We're going to try 2 more of these squats. It's called a chair pose. Very fitting. And hold up. We're going to work into balance, bringing your feet directly underneath your hips. So as you can see from a front view, my feet are directly underneath my hips. If you would like to have a more challenged balance section, just place one hand on the chair. If you would like to have more support for your balance section, put 2 hands on the chair. We're going to soften at the knee joints, and we're going to roll up to our tippy toes, and then roll back down to the heels. Come up to the tippy toes, and roll down to the heels. I'm going to show forward facing for any friends that are there. Lift up to the tippy toes, and then drop down. Lift up, and drop. We'll try one more time. Lift up, and drop. Shake it out. Facing towards the chair back for everyone. This next pose is called spinal balance, or sometimes we call it bird dog. One hand will be on the chair, and one arm will be extended out in front of you. This is about opposites, and I have a wall behind me, so it's a little hard for me to kick all the way back. But what I'm looking at doing is it's my opposite hand and leg that are reaching out, and then I'm going to drop back center. And I'm going to alternate my opposite arm and leg. Tip forward, reach out your opposites, and come back center. Reaching out, and coming back in. Let's try 2 more times. Here's 2. This is why yoga is good for the brain as well as body. Doing all this opposites movements. And come center. Facing forward, one hand is on the chair. We'll come into tree pose. And tree is a posture that we did do in the first session. I want to make sure I revisit that. So it really hardwires into the way we think when we do yoga. We're going to take our foot that's closest to the chair down to the ground. And this foot that's furthest from the chair, we're going to connect our heel either low or medium up to the calf. I want to make sure I stay away from the inside of my knee because the knee meniscus they don't like to be pushed in that sideways motion. So come a little bit low, and your free arm could come into a mini Anjali Mudra, that gesture of gratefulness. It could come up in the air out to the side, or it could rest hand on your hip. We're trying to look at one unmoving spot in front of us and just stay balanced. Squeezing our bones with our muscles. I'll say that again. We're going to squeeze our bones with our muscles. So hold everything tight. One more breath. And take it on down. So for you guys at home, if you just want to turn around and do the same thing, facing opposite direction, you can. I'm going to turn my chair around so that way everybody can see properly. I'm going to have one hand the opposite side on the chair, and my leg closest to the chair, that foot is grounded. Leg furthest from the chair, option to bring it low with my heel resting on my ankle bone, or I could bring it up medium with my foot on my calf. So lots of arm variations that I could pick. You pick your very favorite and stand with your chest tall, thinking about all those muscles in the body. We're going to squeeze through the glutes, that's the butt muscles, the core, the stomach, the back. Keep your eyes on one unmoving spot in front of you. One more breath. And let's let that foot go. Bring our chair back to a position to where you can sit on it and where you feel nice and secure. So that was just a lot of work. We're going to wind down for a moment. We have one more, what I'm going to call peak posture, which is a little more challenging, and then we'll really wind it down from there. So let's take a reset. And just like in life, when we're feeling maybe a bit overwhelmed, overworked, we return to our breath. Same thing in yoga. So let's try 3 more cycles of our 3-part breath that we did at the very beginning of class. To refresh your memory, we want to breathe in through our nose, and we're going to breathe in through the belly first, the chest and rib cavity second, the throat and sinuses third, and then we're going to exhale. Let all that air slowly drain from us. 2 more breaths. Inhale through the belly, the chest cavity, the throat cavity. Exhale, letting the breath ease out of the body. And one more time to breathe. Inhale, big, 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 through the belly first, chest second, throat third, and let it go. Okay. This is our last peak posture. And in a traditional yoga class, we might see something called a peak pose, which is usually done towards the end of your yoga practice. And it's typically considered a little more of a challenging posture. We've been building to this posture the entire class. And this posture is called boat pose. It works our abdominals, and we want to think about having good posture throughout this entire pose. We're going to bring our hands either to the chair bottom or the chair back behind us. And we're just going to wiggle and scooch our bottom towards the edge of the chair. So we're sitting towards close to the edge without falling off. What we're going to do is a little lean back, and we're going to lift a knee up and then drop that foot back down. Return to center. Lean back and come center. So I'm not really resting my back against the chair back. I'm almost there, but I'm tipping back. And I want you to imagine you're in a little kayak. You're in a one-person kayak, and you don't want your kayak to take on any water. So you want to keep that chest up so you don't tip backward in the water. And try this. You could either continue with your alternating legs, or if you're ready to try a challenge, and if your back feels okay with this, just try to lean back and lift up 2 knees and then rock back. It's kind of fun, or not, but give it a try either way. Rock it back, lift up, and catch yourself. Again, if that's too much, you're doing alternating legs. We're going to try one more time. Lift up and drop down. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this was supposed to be a beginner's class, and that was kind of wild, but just have a attitude of this is fun. We're doing something kind of different, and you can get through any yoga pose if you just come at it from that beginner's mind. Let's stretch out our hips. If you are a person that's had a hip replacement, or if your hips just generally bother you a lot, you might not get a lot of range out of this, and that's okay. What we're going to do here is sit once again towards the edge of our chair, and you can let your hands rest towards the chair sides or back. We're going to widen up our feet, just wider than the legs of our chair. And we're going to do a little windshield wiper. So where one knee drops in and the foot comes back flat to the ground, drop the other knee in and return center. So I'm alternating. It's a little internal rotation for the hip. So again, my friends who've had knee replacements, you're not going that far. You're just maybe doing a little itty bitty mini windshield wiper. And my friends that have more flexible hips, you can maybe really twist and turn, but not if there's pain and not if there's restriction in your movement. The hips are the boss. If they say no, we want to listen. We're going to do one more time and return center. Walk your feet back in line with your hips, and we're going to pick one leg to extend the heel out in front of us, and we're going to hinge forward from the crease in our hip. If you're real tight, you may notice you round your back a little bit. So I'm going to show you my yoga teacher hack for that. As you sit back upright, take your pinky fingers, place them in the crease of your hip, and I want you to make sure that you trap your hands by hinging forward. So we're not rounding, our hands aren't free. If you truly hinge from your hip, you'll trap your hands and you'll feel more of a stretch in your hamstring. Hold here, deep breath in, deep breath out, and rising up. Same thing, other side. I'm going to turn slightly to the side so you can see this hip hinge movement. My opposite leg, I extend it out. I place my pinky fingers in the creases of my hip, and I'm going to keep my back flat and hinge forward. So I'm not rounding my back. I want to lengthen up tall and hinge. And yes, I'm at a slight angle because I'm sideways on the chair, but hopefully you are nice and supported. rising up. And last stretch before we begin some more breath work. We're going to take one arm, bring it back behind us. Imagine you're going to pat yourself on the back. Place your hand on the cap of your elbow. Pull the elbow gently behind you to feel a stretch in your tricep, that's this underarm area, and give a little bit of a side bend. You're just going to bend to the side, maybe 5% reach. Take one more breath. And let it go. Shoulder rolls. Same stretch, opposite side of the body. Bring your arm up, touch it to the back. Bring your palm to grab the cap of the elbow. A gentle pull back. We never want to force anything. And then we're going to arc gently to the side. Two more breaths. Let this release. Bring your hands back onto the top of your thighs. So one thing we do know with the science of breathing and how it affects our body, we know that when we stimulate the breath from the belly, from our diaphragm, it helps our central nervous system regulate itself. And I'm sure you've all heard about fight or flight or fawn response. We deal with that all day long. We're trying to put ourselves into what we call rest and digest, which is where we want to live our lives most of the time if things are going okay. This is a calm state where our body's organs can relax and do the job that they're meant to do. So this belly breathing is sort of a hack for getting our central nervous system back into rest and digest, which is the happy place. We'll try this 3-part breath again, but you're going to sync your breath, hopefully, with my count. So when I say 1, that'll be your belly breath. When I say 2, bring the breath up to the chest and torso. When I say 3, bring it up to the throat and sinuses. And then when I count backward, you'll just go down each of those areas. You'll exhale out slowly. I'm going to get up a little closer to the camera to help cue. So sit in a tall, comfortable position. Empty out your lungs. Breathe everything out. Relax the face. And start to inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3. Breathing out. 3, 2. One more time. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3. Breathing out. 3, 2, 1. And breathe normally. We are going to end with our yoga salutation. This is a Sanskrit word. That's an old language. Some would call it a dead language, but yoga's keeping it alive. And this word means the light in me sees and respects the light in you. So that's what that means when I say this. We end every class with this word. I say to you, namaste. And thank you all for joining in. You all stayed, yay. How do you feel, you guys?
Very good.
Thank you.
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad. It was a little more active tonight for sure, but you guys, I couldn't see you because cameras were up, but I'm feeling like nobody raised their hand like they needed help. So I feel like you all
I
did.
thought it was really good. Thank you. My husband joined me with this because it was chair. And
Nice.
he thought it was really good. The only thing I had to do was stop in the middle and get some water. It was a workout.
It was. I decided to make this one a little more active just as part two.
It was good though. Really
But hopefully
good.
it wasn't too much. Hopefully it wasn't too much. So
Well, thank you so
Guys
much,
like it?
Tracee, for volunteering and your expertise. I think we all feel more relaxed. And thank you for all of you for taking time out for your self-care and putting yourself first tonight. We really appreciate you spending your evening with us.
Thank you.
That
Good
was so
night,
nice.
everybody.
Thank you, Tracee. Thank you, Cheryl.
thank you.
Ladies.
Good night,
Everybody.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Be healthy.